This is Dave with Upshot Video Productions, back again. The last video I did was my first video, but in it I also said that I was going to do a separate video for this discount sticker or stamp, however you want to call it. And I was pretty happy with how it turned out, and I will walk you through with how I kind of figured that out. I saw some that were online that were like this, that kind of had a little bit of the three-dimension look to it, and you can do this, create your own using the emboss and the drop shadow and things like that, gradients. So basically what it comes down to is different layers. Now I'm going to turn all these off, and then we'll just kind of go one by one. Again, to be forewarned, I'm not an authority on anything. My goal here is to share some things that I'm learning with others, and hopefully get some feedback on a better way to do something, or you know, just some insights. Hopefully get some insights from other people that can help me along the way. So that being said, I hope this does help somebody out there. So anyhow, if you like what you've seen so far, to go ahead and subscribe, and hopefully I'll be doing these on a regular basis. So to start with, the back, the bottom, let's say the bottom layer of it was just a circle, and I did add a gradient. Now what a gradient can do, it can give a little bit of a lighting effect. Now if we click on this, let's see if I change the opacity, you could see. Now this kind of would give the impression that the sticker has a little bend in it, so that light is reflecting off of it in a kind of way that would be determined by the sticker, how the sticker is bent. So it just gives a little depth. Even when it's subtle, it can give a little depth. When you turn it off, you can see it's very two-dimensional. But this helps it give the impression that it's a flat surface with a little bit of bend to it. The next thing I did, we'll skip this. Basically adding, the real key to this was adding this shape, this outer shape. And now I did not make this manually. I'm not sure how you would go about making this. I basically just found an example of a stock photo online that I liked that had that shape. Taking the effects off, it's just a shape like this. Now, so I'd use the magic wand tool. I ripped that off of a different sticker that I was copying. And then when you add the effects, let's see, one by one, first bevel emboss obviously makes it stand out. And when the parameters you can change to make that look better or worse is the size of the bevel. That's the edge. So if you make it a smaller bevel, you just kind of want to dial it in, you know, to make it to where it looks natural. And I think I came up with something like this. And there's, you know, this will give a softer look, but again, it's to taste. Now the other thing, when we're talking about creating a space to mimic this being in a dimensional space, is using the light source. So as you can, if you change the direction of where the light source is coming from, you can see that it really makes a difference. So This is global light. If you turn that off, you could position this independent of a global setting. But the nice thing about global is if you're using this direction throughout all the bevel and emboss layers, you can use the same direction, and that's to make it natural and not feel like it's unnatural. You need to have some consistency, and you need to imagine that a light source is coming from somewhere up here, and so everything has to follow a radiant kind of direction. And there's these rings here that just kind of add a little bit of flair to it, a little more structure, more of just a design element to it. I copied this a similar. I just used the circle tool and created these. So that was using this ellipse tool. So I just created that, and things were starting to take shape. Now I had each of these as a different font. Now that, again, adding the bevel, emboss, and the drop shadow, and it's all using the global light. So if you zoom in, you can see that first here the bevel is getting some sort of reflection from the light over here. You want to make the drop shadow match that. So the shadow would be on this side of, if the light's coming from here, the shadow would be over here. So, and it also, again, adding a gradient. Now, the gradient gives a lighting effect over the flat surface of it. So bevel emboss gives a depth of and lighting effect for the edges and creates a shape, makes it three-dimensional. The gradient gives a little depth and dimension for a flat surface. And then obviously if you see here with the gradient, it goes from dark to light. Well, if the light source is above here, then it's going to be lighter at the top than the bottom. And then the drop shadow just helps add, again, another layer. It ties it into the bottom layer, so the light is coming. So all those elements together kind of create a 3D look. So I did the same with the off. Again, with the bevel effect, you kind of got to do it to taste for each example. Same goes for the percentage. And I have these separate because I was trying to pick the right font, the right size, and so it all kind of tied in together. And then the cool thing about making your own is I wanted to do a promotion that was using a Google review as a motivator to get this discount. The great thing about this creating your own is you're not stuck with stock stuff. If I put, let's see, I could face, oops. So in using this, you could easily do a Facebook. Now you have to use, let's see, I used a little bit of the bend tool. I can't remember how I did that, by the way. Oh yeah. So yeah, here. So you can put this bend in it, and you're going to have to again do that kind of to fit. Now if I can kind of copy that shape and say okay, now I reposition it. There may be a better way to do that, but you just kind of want to play with it a little bit till it gets right. Let's try to tweak it a little bit more of a bend. That looks, let's try 60. Okay. So you get the idea. And now, anytime you want to run a promotion for a different marketing strategy, whatever it might be, you could change that. You could even change, of course, the number. Say if that wouldn't work, you wanted let's see, 25% discount. It's nice to have all these things that you can modify and edit. I did, for this one, I just copied the layer and then changed the bend. For the stars, I just got a star shape and copied a similar format that the other sticker was using. I used 3 stars. Of course, I had the bevel and all that stuff. And that basically is it. And when you put it, another cool thing on my flyer, if you're using the global light, it's nice that depending on if you have a light source in your project, if you're tying everything in together, then you could use the global light, or you could turn it off and kind of change where that light source is coming from. But anyways, I hope this was helpful. And if you're in doing my own marketing, this is a nice little tool to have. If I ever wanted to do some sort of online kind of promotion or something, I could quickly make a fresh review. I could change the color. It's customizable at this point, and it's a nice little tool to have. So if you like this, please subscribe, comment if you have any suggestions. Again, this is Dave from Upshot Video, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot more of these videos, and not just tutorials and stuff, but I hope to put some other video clips, some edits I'm working on, whatever. So keep an eye on this space, and look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.